You've just written the prompt in ChatGPT. You hit enter, and you get a response that's not bad, but not quite what you had in mind. In this video, I'll show you exactly how to turn that not bad response into exactly what you need through strategic follow-up and refinements. You'll learn the A and R of my C.L.E.A.R framework. How to A, assess ChatGPT's responses, and R, refine them until they're perfect for your situation. Because ChatGPT gets more useful the more you iterate and shape the conversation. Hi, I'm Andreas, and I created the Everyday AI Guide channel and this series to help people 40 and up get the most out of AI tools like ChatGPT by learning how to speak to it and guide it like a collaborator. My job is to walk you through that process so you can use your ideas, your knowledge, and your voice to get your results. If you haven't seen video 2 in this series that explains how to write a strong first prompt using the C.L.E.A.R framework, I've included a link to that video in the description below. And later in this video, I'll show you a power tip, a small built-in feature that makes refining responses even easier, especially when the answers from ChatGPT get long. Let's learn what's possible. We all face conversations we keep putting off, whether it's with family, friends, or colleagues. There are times when you know you need to address something, but you're not sure how to bring it up without possibly making things worse. ChatGPT excels at helping you with this, but only when you give it the right direction. Here's how I would approach this situation using the C.L.E.A.R framework. I need help structuring a conversation with my wife about her parents' visits. They often stay longer than initially planned, which stresses our work schedules. I want to approach this as better planning for everyone rather than criticism. My wife responds well to collaborative problem solving. Can you suggest how to bring this up and specific phrases that sound caring rather than critical? Here's why this prompt works so well. See, I've clarified the task in 2 sections of this prompt. I need help structuring a conversation, and can you suggest how to bring this up and specific phrases? These give ChatGPT clear deliverables. L, I've laid out the context by mentioning that extended stays put stress on our work schedule, and also that I want to take the approach of better planning for everyone rather than criticism. E, I offer one example of what works by mentioning that my wife responds well to collaborative problem solving. Now let's A, assess what ChatGPT gave me back. The response is comprehensive and well structured, but I can see 3 areas that could be refined. First, this is a lot to remember, and I can see this making me feel overwhelmed in the moment when I'm actually trying to have the conversation. Second, some of the language feels a bit formal for how my wife and I normally talk to each other. We're more casual in our communication style. Third, this doesn't prepare me for how to communicate if she happens to get defensive. Let me R, the refine step in the C.L.E.A.R framework by addressing the first issue. I'll ask ChatGPT to simplify this into something more manageable. This is really helpful structure, but can you give me just 2 to 3 key phrases I can remember without sounding scripted? I tend to overthink conversations when I have too much to say. Much better. Now I have something I can actually use in the moment. And this refinement process can continue I could ask ChatGPT to refine one more time and make the language more casual for how we actually talk, or to help me prepare responses if she gets defensive. Each follow-up, each refinement makes the advice more tailored to my specific situation. Now let's look at a different type of challenge, turning a long-term learning goal into real progress. Let's say you've always wanted to reach conversational fluency in Spanish, but every time you've tried, the motivation just faded over time. This time, you want something different, something you can actually stick with. Here's my strong first prompt using the C.L.E.A.R framework. I've been living in Mexico for 6 months and can handle basic conversations in Spanish, but I want to reach true conversational fluency. I can order food and ask for directions, but I struggle with expressing opinions and telling stories about my past. The way I learn best is through real-life practice rather than grammar drills. Can you create a daily learning plan that focuses on intermediate skills like storytelling and expressing preferences? I'd like a 6-month plan that gets me comfortable in deeper conversations. ChatGPT comes back with a comprehensive 6-month plan that breaks down into monthly focuses: past tense storytelling, opinion expression, and cultural nuances. But here's what catches my attention when I assess this response. The daily practice time is 45 to 60 minutes, which feels a little too much for my schedule. Here's the refinement. This looks comprehensive, but 45 to 60 minutes daily feels a bit overwhelming. Can you adjust this to work with just 20 minutes per day? ChatGPT comes back with a revised plan that breaks everything down into a simple 20-minute daily structure. 5 minutes listening to Spanish content, 10 minutes speaking practice, and 5 minutes noting new phrases. Perfect. Now I have something I can actually stick with long term. And just like that, through one simple refinement, I went from a plan that would burn me out to one that's sustainable for 6 months of consistent practice. If you're starting to see how this changes everything about working with AI, make sure you subscribe to this channel. This video is part of a complete series that shows you how to apply this iterative approach to every area of your life and work. You don't want to miss becoming someone who makes AI collaboration look natural. Now here's that feature I promised you that makes refining your answers even easier, especially when the responses start getting long. When ChatGPT gives you a reply, you'll notice a little quote icon that appears when you highlight a section of text. Clicking that icon lets you follow up on just the highlighted section without having to repeat or rewrite your original question. Here's how it works. You're a small business owner and you ask ChatGPT for ways to improve customer retention. One of the ideas it gives you is start a monthly email newsletter that shares helpful tips, product updates, and exclusive offers. You highlight that line, click the quote icon, and ask, can you help me outline what that newsletter might look like for my type of business? Now, ChatGPT addresses just the text you selected, giving you ideas, formats, and even draft content you can work from. It's fast, it's focused, and it keeps the conversation moving without losing your place or starting from scratch. This next example shows how one small business owner turns scattered sticky notes and voice memos into a step-by-step process his team could actually follow. You've been running a client onboarding process that works, but it mostly exists in your head and scattered notes. You want to turn it into a clear process your team can follow. Here's my first prompt. I run a small digital marketing agency and need to create a client onboarding SOP for my team. Right now, the process involves scheduling a kickoff call, collecting brand assets, and setting up their workspace in our project management system. My team works best with clear checklists rather than long explanations. Can you turn this into a step-by-step process that my assistant can follow without constantly asking me questions? ChatGPT provides a comprehensive 6-step checklist covering everything from scheduling the kickoff call to post-meeting follow-up. It's exactly the structured format my team needs. Now let's assess what I got back. The SOP covers the basics well, but step 2 about collecting brand assets is exactly where my team struggles most. Clients are slow to respond or send incomplete files. Here's the R, the refinement. Step 2 about brand assets is where we have the most trouble. Can you expand that section with specific email templates and follow-up strategies for when clients don't respond? ChatGPT comes back with 3 complete email templates: initial request, reminder, and final follow-up, plus a day-by-day escalation strategy and a detailed checklist for my assistant to follow. Now I have a process that addresses our real bottleneck, not just the general workflow. You now know how to take any ChatGPT conversation from good to exactly what you need. You've seen 3 examples of A, assessing what you get back from ChatGPT, and R, refining the response to better suit your needs. Thanks for watching. I'm Andreas, and I'll see you in the next video.